Hey everyone, welcome to Thoughts, Hopes, and Theories, where I ramble about the latest IDs. Today we got a real special treat. A Nursefather and Apprentice duo banner. And boy oh boy do these kits not disappoint. I mean, just look at Faust. She's a bleed charge hybrid that uses a special type of charge called Corpus Ingredients, which I'm just gonna call charge for simplicity. But the real kicker is she has bleed count on all 8 of her skills. And yes, you heard me right, she has 8 skills. Well, technically 9, but I'm lumping her assist defense and evade together. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. The reason she has 8 skills is because she has 2 distinct movesets, Armor On and Armor Off. You start the battle in Armor On mode, where she's a tank who gains aggro and inflicts bleed when she's hit. Then, once you've spent enough charge to gain potency, her armor comes off and she becomes a high-speed, heavy hitter who deals more damage based on difference in speed and can provide assist defense. Once she enters Armor Off mode, she also gains a new status, Artwork, Fascia. This status does a myriad of things, such as strengthening her potency and count infliction, which is kinda insane since she already has crazy potency and count. But what I want to focus on is the fact that this status increases her base power. This is notable because she has no coin power boost on either of her skill 1, 2s, or 3s, but rather she gains final power. This is such an interesting design philosophy to me. She slowly raises the floor of her skills as she gains charge potency, and her conditionals raise the ceiling. So depending on her base rolls and coin power, she genuinely might hit like a truck. But ignoring her skill's raw power, she also inflicts a handful of debuffs. Her skill 1 inflicts defense level down while she gains defense level up. Her skill 2 inflicts bind, and the skill 3 does both, alongside inflicting some damage down and having 3 attack weight. Also, if she's de-armored, her skill 2 gives her some haste, and her skill 3 gives slash damage up. Even past all of that, she has some wild passives. I mean, she just basically gets free sanity whenever she hits an enemy, and if she's at max, she just gets free slash damage up instead. She gains charge count from hitting enemies as well as extra from killing them, but to compensate for that, she doesn't really gain charge from her skill effects, with the only exception being her skill 2. Oh, and also she gets to unstagger herself for free, which seems to be a theme this season. Finally, I mean, just look at her. She's so cool, dude. I love the Iron Maiden armor, and I'm genuinely so happy they actually included it in her kit. Also, I barely see anyone talking about how cool Fascia is as a sword. It's really neat on its own, but it's also the closest we're gonna get to seeing mimicry before Canto 23, and I will personally cherish that. Well now, with the meat of Faust's kit dug through, let's address her stage partner, Nursefather Honglu. Now, first things first. Honglu, honey, that hat is so ugly. Second, he shares a lot of similarities with Faust's Armor Off form. In fact, he has all the same conditionals and coin effects, with a few tiny exceptions. His skill 1 doesn't inflict bleed count, his skill 2 has a built-in follow-up which activates if the enemy has enough debuffs, thus technically making him have a 5 coin skill 2 if you squint at it. And although his regular skill 3 is exactly the same, his enhanced skill 3 has an extra coin, which means more effects. Those extra effects being some Corpus Theater, which I'll explain in a bit, as well as 1 burn for some reason. Oh, and his skill 3 too also heals sanity and gives somatic Frisian-inducing melody, which gives a speed increase and clash power to all identities from the ring, double as much to Faust. He also has nearly the exact same passives. Charge on hit, heal sanity from inflicting negative effects, and if you're at max sanity, gain slash power up. Once he has enough charge potency, he gains Artwork Tibia, which boosts his damage, bleed infliction, and base power. Oh, and he has a free unstagger. There are only 2 major differences. The first being his passive, Transcend the Corpus, which interacts with his special status, Viewing the Tableau. This status gives him protection while Faust is on the field and not much else. It slowly decreases as ring members perform skills, and once it's at 0, he gains access to his skill 3 too. He seems to only be able to gain this skill 1 time, so you're really going to want to try to meet all its conditionals for maximum damage. The second difference is this line here, stating he performs a free follow-up of sorts that buffs Faust's offense level whenever she uses his skill 3, quite literally giving her the spotlight. Now with that out of the way, I can talk about his special status he inflicts, Corpus Theater. He inflicts this with his skill 2's follow-up and his enhanced skill 3. What Corpus Theater does is make it so that when you inflict bleed, you'll inflict additional effects, such as more bleed, some bind, and defense power down, which is rather nice. With the important parts of their kits covered, I can talk about my thoughts. And warning, this part I'm going to talk about Kanto 9 a little bit, so spoilers for the rest of the video. I absolutely love these two IDs. Callisto is such a cool Nursefather. I really enjoyed his fight, and I was really sad that he got probably the least screen time in the Kanto. And the fact his ID went to my favorite sinner bumped up his appeal tenfold. Hong Lu makes this fit look good. Good enough that I'm willing to overlook the ugly-ass hat. And don't even get me started on how big of a blessing Albina Faust is to bleed. She's got bleed count pumping from her very veins. Or rather, her coolant pipes, since she's entirely prosthetic. Plus, her animations are so cool. I'm also very happy they incorporated Albina and Callisto's assist attacks, since the thing I like most about them is they seem to genuinely care for each other and work together in the fight. I also really like that they're experimenting with not doing coin power. I hope they don't fumble it, because the whole increasing base and final power instead of coin power gimmick is really interesting to me. But then again, I just generally love when Limbus shakes up the norm. I mean, there's a reason my favorite ego is Hong Lu's Tears of the Tarnished Blood. Also, the single burn infliction on the skill 3-2. That's gotta mean something, right? Like Riensang had it on his Furioso, so this has to be leading up to something. Maybe Bad End Ryosho is gonna turn every Nursefather into a burn ID? That would finally satisfy all 4 burn fans out there. All in all, I am incredibly happy with these two. Since they are charge IDs, I think you could get some real good value out of Telepole Faust and Dimension Shredder Hong Lu, but that's only if people are willing to try something other than Fluid Sac for once. I'm honestly thinking they're going to be instant additions to a bleed team. This is the lineup I'll be using personally, but if you have a different one you think is better, let me know in the comments. I love team building, so seeing what other people do gives me some fresh insight. Since the next banner is probably going to coincide with the new Intervalo, it's probably going to be a character from that new Intervalo. But if it isn't, I hope it's Middle Nursefather Otis, because I've been wanting a Matthias ID since the moment I saw him. Oh, and finally, this is what I think my Season 7 tier list is going to look like. I'm going to be optimistic and say Hong Lu is going to be better than Aromashu, and Faust is going to be just under her. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say. Hope you have a good day, and see you later!